and they withdraw, so that rather than seeking to maintain their position of leadership, they relinquish it. And I think that's what happened with Adam. So when Eve takes the fruit, Eve engages the serpent, and Eve takes the fruit, and Eve eats the fruit. Adam just stands by and goes along. And my own assumption is that part of Adam's going along was, look, me not able with no problem, me want no confusion, me want no big set of argument, but you still have to lead. And so as a result, what we have had in our society is that a lot of men have not fulfilled and understood their calling by God to lead, to be the persons who are, as it were, out front, giving direction, having a sense of vision. Think about this. More and more in a family system, I hear the woman has a sense of where she wants to go and what she wants for the family, and the man just going along. He doesn't have a sense of what we want and how we want to go. In fact, more and more now, women have their own house even before the man. And more now, man going to live in the house with the woman. I remember a time when men had this sense that this is what they want. This is the job they want to get, and how they want to build a house, and when they want to get a house, and they want to put the family in the house. There's a sense in which the man had a sense of goal and purpose, someplace he wanted to go. And so the woman embraced that sense of direction. Now I am hearing a lot of women complain that they have men in their life who have no sense of direction, no real motivation. In fact, the thing has gotten so bad. 2 years ago in St. Vincent, what they call Groovy Soca Monarch, the man who won the crown, his song was Give Me a Sugar Mommy. And he sung celebrating the fact that he had a woman minding him, and that he all he gotta do essentially is let the woman mind him. No, that for me is when you have lost every sense of your manhood. There's no pride in that. There's no real sense of who we are as a man. When all you dey home doing nothing and sponging off of a woman, gosh man, where is your sense of who you are as a man, who God had endowed with a responsibility to take and give leadership to the home, to the woman, to the family, to the society? So now what we are seeing is and societies have been boasting about it. The more we have women in leadership, women in this position, women, but you know what that means? I find it very humorous because we don't talk about that. The more you hear we have women permanent secretaries, women doctors, women lawyers, women, you know what that also means? The more you have that is the less you have men. But we don't have a problem with absent men in those positions anymore, you know. It's amazing. You listen to the narrative globally. We are glad to celebrate. All of the teachers are women, and all of the lawyers now are women, and all of the permanent secretaries are women, and the cabinet has more women than men. Essentially, what we're saying is that we are celebrating the absence of men. Wow. So I'm saying that God, in his divine order, not only calls men to lead, but he also equips them to lead. So you look at the Bible, from Genesis, you go through what they call the patriarchs, the prophets, even down to when Jesus came, the disciples. What do you see there? You see men leading. And so when you get that narrative and you apply it to how our society should function, you get a clear sense that the way God designed our society is for men. Now, what that means, however, is that our men need to understand, one, who they are, two, what their giftings are, and three, how they're expected to function as a leader. Because the truth is, a lot of our men don't know what it means to lead. So for a lot of them, they feel leading is really bossship. I'm in charge, me run things, me the man in this house. When we say goes, that's not leadership. And if you look at how Jesus sets an example of leadership, We learn how Jesus was able to lead his disciples and lead, in fact, thousands of people and lead the world. But yet his leadership was clear, but his method was one that enabled and empowered and equipped and saw people becoming their better selves. You see, now you think of it then. You think of it then. Stop that, please, Aniela. You think of it then. Call this, yes, it would come on, leave it. You think of it then. If men are leading well, the thesis therefore is, if men are leading well, our families would be better. If men are leading well, our society would be better. Now think about it. If a leader enables people to discover themselves better, fulfill their potential, etc., then you could understand why the absence of a leader, the man, creates such problems and issues in the home and family. So one of the interesting things, though, that I considered that we may have to consider and factor in as we understand the man as the leader is it may also be necessary for us to consider that while the man is leader in God's design, there is a phenomenon of or an understanding of the woman as powerful. Now, it may seem a little strange to language it that way, but hear me. When I look at scripture, I'm getting a sense that you have on the one hand the powerful woman, and you have on the other one the leader man. Now, you know, Shaggy talks about the strength of a woman, and we know that is not just song, that is true. So I thought of this thing, and I've been reflecting on this thing. Because here the thesis. So you have leader man and powerful woman. Powerful woman, leader man. Now, I want you to understand this. When you read scripture, and from our own experiences, you realize it's undeniable that woman is powerful. Now, think of it. That Eve could give Adam the fruit. That Eve could give Adam the fruit is not as much a failure of the woman, but of the man. And I'll tell you why just now. Because you have to maintain the balance between powerful woman and leader man. Now, let me point out how woman powerful. Solomon, brother, I only heard the last reflection, and I'll pause just now after this one for any discussion. Solomon, the wisest man to have ever lived. But what was his downfall? Woman. As wise as Solomon was, it's woman who brought him down. David, one of the most outstanding leaders and king. And what nearly destroyed David's kingdom? Woman. Ahab, a king who run things in Ahab's reign, a woman, Jezebel. You look at the scripture and you get the sense from Genesis on that there is this idea of the powerful woman, which therefore, for me, this is the thesis I'm exploring. It therefore means, so while on the one hand, the woman is powerful, that's why you need the leader man on the other hand. So his role is to guide, to channel, to quote unquote control this power, because without the man, this power is reckless and dangerous. No, because generally in life, we know it to be true that power, it's hard for power to check itself. Most systems in our society, if you have something that is powerful, you have to have something else to help to manage, maintain, control the power, so the power doesn't destroy. So that's why I said the problem with Eve and Adam and at the fruit is not a problem of Eve. Eve was doing what Eve essentially was meant to do. She was a powerful woman. The problem was with Adam, who was expected to give leadership to this powerful woman. And that's why it's an interesting thing that from Genesis to 2020, the powerful woman has, excuse me, has constantly been trying to push the boundaries, manifest the power, take control. And the man who is supposed to lead is really expected to be functioning responsibly, effectively, leading, controlling, guiding that power. So we have the best out of our society. But what has happened, like Adam, the more the woman has pushed and manifested power, the man has not given leadership. That's why I tell you all, when I hear women, for example, say, all I want is a good Christian man, and once I have a good Christian man, you know, I don't have a problem submitting. Oh, that's her fooling herself. Because the woman is pregnant with power, she's always wanting, essentially, to assert herself and to take over. So that even when she has a good man in her life, she pushes the boundary and he finds himself trying to push back. And she finds himself trying to push back. But that's the dynamic, and that's why for us as men, God has gifted us with the mental, emotional capacity to be able to give leadership. And that's why, if you remember, that's why Paul says that the man is the one who is responsible to take the woman, as it were, and perfect her so that he presents her to God without spot and blemish. So that when the man fails to be a man, then he leaves the woman with her defects rather than enable her to be what God empowered and enabled her to be. So our society is suffering tragically from the absence of leading men, men who understand that they were gifted by God with a certain mental, emotional, physical, psychological capacity to lead.